Hello, family. Hello, friends. This is Helena Kintz. You're listening to Chasing the Truth and Uniqueness podcast, a podcast that is set to share love, knowledge, and teach us how to love our uniqueness by living a truthful life, helping you to discover your strength by accepting your weaknesses. Christian King Bless, a strengths corp accredited master practitioner, a strengths based personal development technique. He's the founder of SololaBien Real Talk, an entrepreneur with an enriching experience in media broadcast. We have the pleasure to have him as our guest today on Chasing the Truth and Uniqueness podcast. He has humbly accepted, to talk with us about his experience, basically how he came up with this amazing real talk show that is bringing not only Congolese but also inspiring other African countries and every human being behind what he is doing. So we're going to welcome him. Hello, Christian.
Hi, Ellen. How are you?
I'm doing great. We are so pleased to have you, and I'm sure that many people here, our listeners, will are also glad that we have you today, and then most of them will love to know more about you and to know you better. Would you please introduce us?
Ellen, I wanted to say thank you again for this invitation. It means a lot to have considered me for to be a guest on the podcast. I would like to start off by saying that my name is Christian Bless. I'm 33 years old, and I'm the founder and CEO of SololaBien. I also have a consultancy firm called TK Bless Consultancy. I have a cleaning business. I have many other ventures that I do, but I really specialize in trying to change and support people's lives. One of my core beliefs is enabling people to discover the true self, their greater self, and that's what I live to do, and that's who I am.
Amazing. And what I learned is that behind young entrepreneurs with vision today is that they are doing something. So they are people with actions. So as
Correct.
you, would you please tell us a little bit about how what do you think about being a young entrepreneur today and
Mm,
doing something, not only dreaming, not only envisioning, but you are actually putting your vision, your thought into actions. And let me remind here that you are a personal development also coach, right?
e-
Motivator.
exactly. Yeah. I'm a practitioner in StrengthScope, which is a psychometric tool that really enables people to discover their strengths and to play to their strengths in order to fulfill their purpose and to become the best version of themselves. You spoke about entrepreneurship and really uh, moving moving your dream to a reality. And most people dream. Dream is something that anybody can do. To dream is something that even a child can children do. To dream is it's important, but to dream isn't necessarily the destination. To dream is something that gives us hope. When somebody stops dreaming, when somebody stops um, thinking of where they can go, that's where they get stuck. So I truly believe that it's important to be dreamers. But the difference between dreaming for the sake of dreaming, but dreaming in order to make um, things a reality, it's now in terms of having a vision. You know, Anybody can have a dream, but those that have a vision are those that often enable their vision to come to reality. Let me just speak about this. I was reading a book a couple of days ago. This is a wonderful book by Miles Monroe called Leadership, and he mentioned something very interesting in that book that I think kind of answers the question of how do you move a dream to become a reality. He said that um, leadership is only possible if you have a vision, but
Hmm.
a vision, if a vision that is not fulfilled, kills the leader. So you understand that it's so important as a leader to really understand your vision, but it's important to work your vision. It's important to channel your vision. It's important to communicate your vision. It's important to cultivate your vision. And for me, I've always been a person that when I have a vision, when I have an idea, when I have a dream, when something is conceived in my mind, if I'm really passionate about it, I'm really determined to bring it to pass. And the way I do it is by trying to write it down, trying to cultivate it, understand who can I associate in that vision in order to make that vision happen. Because I truly believe that if we have more people, more young people that have visions and that have a strategy on how to enable that vision to come to reality, we'll surely see more change in our country.
That shows that you have an amazing personality. After what you're
Mm,
doing, that is amazing and totally inspiring. But let me
mm,
mention you have said earlier here in the beginning when you said that you are driven to promote, to empower people,
yes,
to inspire. So haven't
yes.
you been discouraged, like to
Have I been
stop?
discouraged?
Yes, if you have been discouraged to stop empowering people, because isn't it a, a great, I mean, a big task to do, to empower people. After all, you may not see the results that maybe you have expected. Then you maybe encounter people who are like deceivers, and then who are not even also driven by the same desire that you have, but you have this willing to promote them. Haven't you been discouraged, like to stop and to just pass on something else?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think first of all, I would say that I think every great person, whether it's the past leaders that we've seen in our history books like Julius Caesar or pharaohs or Alexander the Great or you can go to different scientists, Isaac Newton. In our latest days, you have Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Obama. All these people, at one point of their life, they felt like giving up. They felt
Yeah.
like giving up, and for me, I haven't been spared that feeling. You know, there are times when I felt like giving up, when I felt like, why should I continue? Why, I've been deceived, I've been discouraged, I've been let down, I've been backstabbed, I've been criticized, I've been spoken negative of, I've been ridiculed, and sometimes when you go through that, you you feel like, you know what, why should I continue? You know, what's the point? What's the point of continuing if the people that I'm trying to impact, if the people that I'm trying to support don't even recognize, and sometimes people that you help don't even appreciate the work that you've done.
Mm.
But what helps me stay the course? What helps me stay focused is the fact that what this is very important is because what drives me, the feeling, the passion, the enthusiasm, the 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 desire that that fires me is not in men. You see, if my desire and my passion and my fuel was in a human being, then when a human being deceives me, I will let go. So many times I've felt like giving up on SololaBien. So many times I've felt like, oh, why should I continue doing my consultancy business, or why should I do my cleaning business, or why should I do all these other ventures? I felt like giving up. Trust me, I wanted to give up. If it was up to me, I wanted to give up. But because my source is not in man, my source
Mm.
is something a bit more supernatural. My source is something a bit more, it's not tangible. It's something that men cannot see. You see, for those who are, for those who are Christians, they will know the story of Joseph. Joseph, his brothers, they wanted to kill him. They wanted to throw him in the pit, and they took his coat that his father gave him, believing that by stealing his coat or by throwing him in the pit was going to finish him. Whereas what Joseph had as his source was not in the visible world, was in the invisible world. You see, so when men are limited to the visible things, and your source comes from the intangible things, you can't be stopped. And that's why I really believe that in order for you to not allow other people to discourage you, your why has to be bigger than what you see.
Yeah.
That's why I said it's a leader has to have a vision. Because if you have a vision, your vision will sustain you even when your present doesn't fulfill you. You see,
Mm.
when you have a vision, people may discourage you and may try and bring you down and may try to criticize you. I've had it when people criticize me, abandon me, leave me. But because my vision isn't isn't determined by my present, so I don't know, God finds a way to give me provision in order to keep me going. So whenever I feel down, whenever I feel like giving up, I always ask myself, why am I doing this? What is the purpose? What is the driving force? In other words, what is the vision? And as long as you walk to the vision, you will be able to do it. I'm going to give you another example now because I'm a Christian, so I sometimes use the scriptures as an analogy. There was a man, a disciple that was on the boat, and Jesus was walking on water, and then Jesus, and then the disciples asked uh, Jesus if he can walk on water, and then Christ said yes, and then he said, "Upon your word, I will walk. I will walk towards you." So the disciple had a vision, which was that I can walk on water because my master had told me. In his mind, that was the vision. And as long as his focus was on the vision, he was able to walk on water. But as soon as he lost focus on the vision, the water began to consume him. In other words, so many things in life, whether it's poverty, whether it's family, whether it's
Mm.
relationship, whether it's money, it will try to make you lose focus on the vision. But as long
Yeah.
as you keep focused on it, you'll be able to achieve it.
Mm. That's great. Everything, whether is in life, in business, in a relationship, will try to take focus on you.
Mm.
That's amazing. But whether
Yeah.
you really keep focused, then you may stay on track according to your
Mm-hmm.
vision and achieve it. That's
Absolutely.
amazing. That's amazing. Before I ask you a question about SololaBien, which is
Mm.
something that you are doing for the Congolese community, isn't it right? Is it it?
Correct.
How how do you achieve such goal while you are based you living, I mean you are British,
Yeah.
you're living in UK, and you have decided to do this show in Lingala precisely.
Yeah.
So how do you cope with actually the mentality, I mean the way of living of Congolese there in your community, and the Congolese actually based in Congo DRC? What kind of opinion, I mean the most greatest, I mean opinion that you think has even completely match your vision about this show?
Um, One thing that I realized, doing SololaBien, I've first of all I've understood that there were so many Congolese people around the world. Like honestly, I think we're literally in nearly every country. There's over 180 or so country, and there's so many Congolese people everywhere in the world. But what I realized that Congolese people, the vast majority that I have encountered, they love their country. They have passion for their country,
Mm.
and there's definitely a difference of mentality, of perspective with the Congolese people living in the Congo and those living in the diaspora or those living in the West. And when I went to Congo, there were certain things, like whether it's regards to gender roles, whether it's regards to society, societal issues, that people in the Congo, they have their way of thinking, and it's
Yes.
completely different from the way we look at things in London. Like this, and for them, in order to, if you want to propose an alternative way of thinking, for them, it's like what's the word I'm looking for? It's 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 rebellious. It's like how can somebody even
Christian,
conceive such an idea?
yeah, but I have something just crossed my mind. What,
Mm.
I mean, actually, Congolese diaspora or the community, or Congolese there, British. How do you, how do you want to live actually? Do you want to live as European, as British, or you want to live as Congolese originally, but living in UK? What lifestyle do you choose to live there
No,
in UK?
I'm Congolese. I'm Congolese. I'm Congolese, but I have a British passport.
Mm,
I'm 100% Congolese. Like that's not. I think a lot of people sometimes lose focus on where they're from.
mm,
Don't get me wrong. I've lived in the UK all my life. I've only visited Congo a handful of times, but I'm Congolese. I think it's important for you to know who you are. That's one of the reasons why I also started the show, because I wanted to bring awareness to some of the issues and the topics happening in the Congo, in order to allow young people to feel connected and more associated to their country. We
mm,
often hear people in the UK often talk about other nationalities, other African countries, without actually being connected to their own roots, to their own countries, to have their own platform to discuss. So for me, I'm Congolese first. I'm Congolese first, and I'm British. I'm British second. Um, that's the way I live my life. I'm black. I'm African, and but I respect England. I respect Britain. I respect the Queen. Living in the UK is an absolute privilege. Let no one lie to you. Living in the UK is a privilege. When you go to Congo, and then you experience some of the poverty that people live there,
yes.
you tend to forget the privilege that you have in living in a country where you can get free education, you can get
Mm,
free healthcare, you can
mm-hmm,
you can vote without any sort of oppression happening to you. You can speak freely most of the time without anything happening to you. If you don't have work, you've got the government that will support you financially. There's so much privileges that we have in living in the UK or living in the West, that we tend to forget it. So no, I'm absolutely honored to be British, but I'm Congolese. I'm 100%.
that was an honest talk. Living in
Mm.
UK is a privilege. That was
One
honest.
one
Many
hundred
people, African, as you said, you mentioned the reality that we're living in DRC. You have poverty, we have unmoving situations that
Yes.
are not, yes, that are not prevailing us to even proceed about about any project. Even you, actually, you are an entrepreneur, so you are envisioning to do business in your own country, but then you may encounter some disappointment and also
100%.
discouragement. So if is it really going to work out? Is it, are you really going to do profits? Because in UK you have law and you have all the procedures there that you may actually, the business that you are doing now are all based in UK, right?
The majority of them are business. I've got some businesses in the Congo,
You mentioned.
but yeah, yeah, but which is true. You know, there's difference of mentality, there's difference of procedures. You know, there's law and order, which helps in the UK. And you know, sometimes when you want to do business in other countries, it's a massive struggle. It's a massive struggle because you're thinking to yourself, you know, like efficiency. Let's be efficient in how we do things. Let's
Mm-hmm.
simplify red tape. And sometimes, you know, just to get a piece of paper that will take you less than 20 minutes here in the UK might take you 2 months in the Congo. And you think to
That's
yourself,
true.
why?
That's
Why?
true.
Like why? Just give me the paper. Like, come on, I'm paying for it. It's not free. I'm paying for it. But
Yeah,
it's something that I'm hoping that with you know the young generation
can
who
improve
are
it. Yeah.
who are living in the West can come back to Congo and sort of share some positive, efficient ways of doing things in order to allow the country to evolve and to expand.
But Christian, what is
Mm,
your secret? You are young, not even 40 yet, not even
mm,
37 yet.
mm.
How come you have achieved many things at the same time? You have come up with great achievements. How have you been doing this as being a strength practitioner master? So you have advice to give to young people today who will be listening to you now.
To be fair, I don't see myself like that. I don't. I see that myself as though I haven't done anything yet. I haven't even touched the surface. You know, somebody can look at me and be like, right, Christian, you've you know, you are a strength practitioner, you've got a consultancy business, you've got other maintenance business, you know, you work in a good job here in the UK, you've got SololaBien that's on B1 TV, that's on YouTube, over nearly 2 million views, in over 20 countries globally, we've got over 50,000 followers. People may look at it and be like, you know what, I want to, you know, I would love to be like that. And sometimes I have to appreciate some of my achievements. But in my mind, I haven't achieved yet. Why is that? Because that keeps me hungry. Um, thinking that I haven't even touched 1% of what I want to achieve keeps me focused. It's like an athlete that knows that I'm still I still need to hit perfection. I still need to work. I still need to go to train. I still need to do more. You know, once you do that, it gives you focus. When you've got focus and an aim, then that enables you to achieve your goals. The problem that we have in life is that if you feel that you've already achieved, then then there's nothing else for you to do. Then that's when you go back to zero.
Hmm.
That's where you. But if you stay hungry, like my guy Anthony Joshua says, stay humble, stay hungry. If you stay hungry, my other guy, Les Brown, he says you gotta be hungry. You know, when you
Yes.
stay hungry, then you realize that you know what, there's
Talking.
still a lot that I need to achieve.
Talking about Solola Bien, what has been the negative opinion or feedback so far about the show?
Ah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, was I like a toxic? Oh no, me belly of a Congo like a cavoye. Oh no, you are biased. Oh my, now you can't. But to be fair, like I've heard good stuff, I've heard bad stuff. but the majority is positive, you know.
Mm.
So I don't really allow. I mean, if somebody gives me a negative feedback, and when I listen to the feedback, if the feedback resonates, then I will try and make a change. If
Hmm,
I if I if I
that's
if somebody
good.
gives me negative feedback and then I don't see where that negative feedback is valid, then I just shrug it off and move on. The problem that I had when I started SololaBien, I had so much people telling me stuff. Like, Christian
We
this,
love,
Christian that. Hmm?
yes. We love that you mentioned that you are a Christian, you're a believer, you're a believer of God. That's what we love
Mm.
here in Chasing the Truth and Uniqueness podcast. The family would like to know, okay, this is our last question. I would like to understand what you just said earlier here about that experience that you've been through, the struggle that you have. Is it about suicide? What you said, suicide?
Yeah, so I said that I was going through depression. I was going through depression.
Hmm.
Um, I was I doubted myself. I never thought that I would live to the age of 16. I was
Hmm.
very down, and then God changed me. I had a spiritual encounter with God that completely changed my life. And since that encounter with God, no matter what happens in my life, I always put Him first. Um, I go through ups and downs, I go through struggles, I go through difficulties, but the Bible says no one has ever encountered the Lord and remained the same. And for me, since the age of 13, God completely changed me.
This is a deep, sharing, and I believe and I trust that many people listening to this will understand that when God calls you for something great, to lead people, to empower people, to help people, like just the way you're doing, you will come, you will struggle, you will go through struggle, difficulties, experience that like what you have been through. So I praise God that He changed you, you encounter Him, and He is still doing great things with you.
Amen.
Do you have anything else you can say to the listeners? Everyone who's going to listen to you, do you have
Yeah,
the last word? Yeah.
I would say this. Um, I'll say in life, in order for you to really achieve your greatness, the first thing you need to do is understand your purpose. When you
Yeah.
understand your purpose and you have a visual mental print of what your purpose is, that now becomes your vision. And when you have a vision, you have to keep that vision clear, concise, simplified. You have to work that vision. You have to channel that vision. You have to water that vision. And if you do that, God will be able to give you a provision in your current circumstance. So believe in yourself, no matter where you are, what you do, and I believe that God will do greatness in your life.
Thank you, Christian Bless. Thank you very much for your time that you have allowed us to talk with you to understand who you are, what God has been doing with you, and then what God allowed you to experience
Thank you.
and your business and the advice you have given, you shared with us. We
Thank
thank
you.
you so much, and we hope to have you next time to talk about your business, to deeply talk about SololaBien Real Talk, how is it going, and then your business consulting.
Definitely.
We wish to have you next time. Thank you so much,
Thank you,
and
Ellen. And thank you
bye.
for having me. I appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.